Going up.
I've just checked into the Marriott Bethesda Downtown Hotel.
Do you love lift music?
And I'm heading up to my room, which has a brand new design that I've been invited to test out. I'll be honest though, I'm jet lagged. I've travelled for about 9 hours and crossed about 5 time zones. I've got work tomorrow and I just want to lie down.
4th floor.
But then I see Jeff Forrest, the Senior Vice President of Global Design Strategies at Marriott. He's standing outside my room and he's got a grin on his face.
Hamish, welcome.
Hey Jeff, how you doing? So, are we ready?
Let's do it.
Okay, so we've walked into the room and I can straight away see an area for the dining table. There's a statement lighting piece, really nice wall coverings, spacious living area. Something doesn't feel right though about this space. Where's the bed?
Exactly. If you'll touch the panel just on the wall there to your left.
Oh, it's a bed, literally coming from the ceiling. It looks like it's going to crush the sofa, but I'm assuming it's not.
It does look like that. I assure you it won't.
Okay, that's really clever. So the sofa becomes the headboard.
That's exactly right.
I mean, I've reviewed a lot of hotels and seen a lot of hotel configurations and concepts, and I've never experienced a bed coming down from the ceiling. When did this concept come to you guys?
What we took as inspiration is some guest insight that said, the way you experience a space isn't necessarily by square footage, but rather by circulation space. Well, how do we maximize circulation space? So we thought, okay, well then let's get rid of the bed.
Oh, wow.
And now the bed will raise itself into the ceiling, the notion being we could change the purpose of a room over time to let it be what you want in each moment.
And do you think this is the future of hotel rooms?
I think it's a future. I think this is one arrow in our quiver.
This is Travel by Design, where we chat with the visionaries behind the world's most extraordinary hotels. I'm your host, Hamish Kilburn, professional hotel reviewer and the editor of Hotel Designs. And today, our destination is Marriott Headquarters in Bethesda, Maryland, where Jeff and his team of designers have built an entire floor of prototype hotel rooms. Many of these next-generation rooms are made to become what I need when I need it, in a very tangible and intuitive way. But how do you take something like a disappearing bed and make it feel totally natural and completely essential the first time it's used? And how do you make a room that works for all kinds of travel journeys without losing the personality of the place you're travelling to? To find out, I followed Jeff to the place where future hotel rooms are born. We're in the makerspace at Marriott's top secret design lab. It's a massive workshop where the team can build a test room in a single afternoon. The first version of a new room is made entirely out of plain white foam core, and it's filled with real furniture.
There's lots of things that you can do digitally that feel very different. You change a wall a couple inches, it can feel very different when you get into the physical space. So
That's Jason Robertson, Vice President of Global Design Innovation. He steps into the bare bones room and he is literally talking to me through the fourth wall.
So you can put on a headset that can show you what the finished product could look like. You can stand in this unfinished room and you can feel like you're in the space, but you can be seeing what the final version of it is. The ability to sit in that space is really critical. We all have a sense called proprioception, and that's why you know a space feels claustrophobic or expansive. And that's important to get to really quickly because inches matter in our business and that tension between things.
To actually feel, because that's what we're trying to do, isn't it? Allow guests to really feel something as they walk into a space.
Yeah, the reality is often people don't know what they want until they see it. And so it's this team's job to create that vision for the future, to bring that new thing to life so that when guests do see it, they know it's instantly what they want.
So to find out exactly how travellers will react to these new designs, the team is building an entire floor of prototype rooms next door in the Marriott Bethesda Downtown Hotel. Jeff walks over to an unmarked door and he brings me into this secret corridor where these rooms are being set up.
Oh, I can smell it. I can smell that there's construction happening in this area.
There's absolutely construction still happening.
Even though we're only a few stories up, Jeff calls this place Floor 57.
Our first hotel was opened in 1957, so this is a space where we innovate on hotel rooms specifically.
All of this used to be 2 stories below Marriott Headquarters, and it was called the Underground.
What I found is I would periodically go down multiple days a week and work from those rooms just to get the experience of being in and working in all these different rooms.
Now, these rooms are upstairs and fully functioning. Each door on Floor 57 is marked with a brand name, like Western, AC or Moxie. And behind every door, there's a prototype room for that brand. 13 rooms in total. The design team invites travellers, journalists, hotel owners, and hospitality professionals to stay the night.
And then at the end of their stay, we'll invite them to do a debrief with us to give us their feedback on what they experienced.
So it's not just a questionnaire, it's actually a conversation that you're having with the guests to really understand how that space made them feel.
Most definitely. We are not probably as good interviewers as you are, but our goal is to pull that information from the guest, right? To have a conversation with them and notice where there's the pause or notice where there's the hook to ask another question and to pull it forward.
Like the disappearing bed in my room, the most impressive features are the things that I can reach out and touch. There's a sofa in the Western, which changes shape with a simple push or a pull of a side cushion.
You can turn the arm of the sofa. It goes from a back to an arm, which allows you to sit in different positions as you work or relax.
Jeff shows me an enormous vanity mirror in the AC that's standing where normally there'd be an entire wall.
You'll notice that mirror does act as a divider, but it's also very ephemeral. It doesn't feel heavy. It doesn't take up a bunch of space. And if you come around to the bedside of it, you'll notice that space behind the mirror is taken up by this piece, which is effectively an art piece, but it's also a reflector, which allows light to get diffused through the room.
Yeah, it's clever.
And in the Moxie, I see 3 paintings, which actually turn out to be loose leaf pads. And each page is a replica of the original artwork.
Which allows you as a guest, if you like that art, we want you to like it, then you can now take that off and take it home with you.
So you just rip it off?
Absolutely. And now that's yours to take home.
Even the room that I'm staying in tonight has the movable bed, and it's interesting to me actually seeing physical objects based on research and there being a bigger picture and actually seeing it as a tangible solution. And for you as a design visionary, what are you trying to give to hospitality and the next generation of hotels?
As I travel, for me, one of the things that really attracts me to it is this notion of perpetual discovery, of always finding something new. And when you come to a new city, it's the idea of discovering what that city's about, what the people are about. But it's also about discovering yourself, discovering who you are in this moment, how you are, what it is you want, and how we deliver that to you in the best possible way. So how do we give you that sense of wonder and that feeling of discovery?
This idea of perpetual discovery really resonates with me. Because when I travel, what I want most of all from a hotel room is that it just makes my trip feel seamless and brings me closer to the place I'm visiting.
Imagine how soul-crushing it is for many when you wake up in a room and you're like, I don't know where I am, I have no sense of place, and how sad that you leave without having even just a tad, a smidge of insight into what is it about this destination, you know?
That's Alia Khan. She's a vice president of design at Marriott. And she's helping me see how these next generation rooms can be flexible for different styles of travel, but without becoming totally bland. We're standing inside the prototype room for Le Méridien. It's a comforting, elegant space that she's filled with visual details from the history of Bethesda.
So the story or the narrative that was put together was around the sort of agrarian roots of Maryland, pulling the color palette from what that might look like.
There's a map woven into the carpet, which shows the topography of the surrounding area, and framed paintings on the wall, which were curated in partnership with local artists. Alia thinks there's so much more she can do with design to help us discover the meaning of the journeys that we're on.
I'm looking forward to a world where I think we can really invest in local communities. So for example, this artwork, these 3 pieces, each one is a young, underrepresented artist from the area to share their work. For us to show insight into a new point of view is quite exciting. And so, why does it just begin with art? Is it something about the food? Is it something about the culture? You know, even a botanical can go so far in conveying something about where you are, and it should look good. But if someone wants to dig deeper, imagine how much more pleasurable it is to learn that deeper meaning. Totally. Because if they're picking you, I kind of feel you have to be willing to give back something that is super meaningful to them. These are birthdays and anniversaries, you know, memorable, iconic life experiences. So what are we doing in the design to make it memorable, make it unique, make it like nothing other? I think those are sort of the things that inspire me. And, you know, you can then regularly think about like, well, we've done that before, let's not do that again. Or we did that, we learned something from it, how do we evolve it further? And I think all of those conversations drive what we do.
Travel by Design is a podcast by Marriott Bonvoy Traveller, the online travel magazine where you'll find more inspiring hotel design stories. If you're curious about the craft of hotel design, then check out marriottbonvoy.com/travelbydesign. And if you want to go behind the scenes of my travel experiences across the world, then follow me on Instagram @HotelTravelEditor. This episode was produced by Narratively Creative. Our senior producer is James Boo. Our associate producers are Neely Shastri and Greta Stromquist. Story edits by Priscilla Alabi, sound design by James Boo, and audio engineering by Dorian Love. Our Marriott Bonvoy Traveller producers are Valerie Connors and Robin Benefield. Special thanks to Jeff Boris, Jason Robinson, Robin Kaminsky, Debbie Hughley, Alia Khan, and Mike Postal for speaking with me about their work. And thank you to Kelly Lavin for making my trip to Marriott Headquarters possible. I'm your host, Hamish Kilburn. Don't forget to subscribe to Travel by Design in your podcast app. And tune in next time to hear more design stories behind the world's most extraordinary hotels.